Hi guys, welcome back to the Yorkshire Modeller. We now have issue 2 of the Hachette Partworks Spitfire. So in issue 2 we get the motor and the gears for the spinner. We also get a lower fuselage frame, which is, oh, that's very bright. That part there is the lower fuselage frame. That we don't do anything with in this issue. It's just the actual spinners, so the propeller blades themselves, the cap that came with them, and the motors that go inside as well. So as always, I'll get the camera pointed down at the table and we'll see what we get parts wise with issue 2. So here we've got all the parts that we get with issue 2. So this is the frame part for the fuselage. So that part we don't, like I say, we don't do anything with, so I'll just put that to one side. So what we actually have then, put my specs on, is we've got the motor housings part 1 and 2 there. In this little bag here we've got part 2.3, which is the propeller gear set. Then this one is the propeller motor, and then obviously we've got the fuselage frame that I've just shown you. We also get one bag that's got 7 screws in, 4 silver and 3 black. So the 3 black screws are the PB screws and the 4 silver screws are the PM screws. So, whoa, I'm knocking my cabinet up. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put these screws off to one side and just set them aside separately. Now, both of those, you do get one spare with each, so I'm just going to put those down there so we know they're there. So, now I've also got the parts that we got with issue 1 as well, because we're going to actually be attaching the nose cone itself onto the propeller blades in this issue. So, I'll just open this as well. Now, one thing I will mention about this 2.3 propeller gear set is, from looking at it, it looks like there's actually oil in it, so I don't know whether we'll need to do anything with this when it comes to like lubricating the parts themselves. I know some people have used petroleum jelly like Vaseline and things like that inside the propeller blades here, so that they can they'll move nice and smoothly when we've got it all together. I've not done anything like that yet. I might do it at a later date, I don't know, but we'll see. So like I say though, with this part everything all seems to be moving fine at the moment. So another thing I've seen on one of the groups is, when you're turning these to adjust the pitch, don't put too much pressure on it, just do it slowly, and when you feel it stop, just stop turning it, obviously. So that's that done. Right, so remove the propeller assembly from the template from issue 1 and turn it over so that the flat side of the mount is facing up. Fit the assembly to the spinner nose cone from issue 2. So that's the flat side. Can I get that into the light? There we go. So that's the flat side they're on about. So that side has to be facing up, and the smoother side there has to be facing into the nose cone, just like that. Ensure that the propeller mount fits snugly into the spinner so that the blades fit into the recesses. Note there's a small peg on the propeller assembly, 1.4, which locates into the notch on the side. So on this one, it's the smooth side just there. You might not be able to make it out very well, but there's, there you go. That little notch just there fits into the little notch just inside here as well. So there's a tiny little notch inside the nose cone itself, which fits into that bit there. So that way you know that everything is the right way around. Stage 3 is fit the propeller gear set into the centre of the spinner. The curved tabs fit over the arms of the propellers. So if we take this, so this part here, let me try and get it into the light, there we go, has got some curved parts on it as well. So there, there and there are all the curved parts. Now those are the bits that go over the propeller blades. So if we just pop those in like that, They go in all nice and smooth like that. So that's indicated by the red arrows. Fixed in place with 3 PM screws. So they are the silver ones, I think, aren't they? Yeah. So the silver screws fix the socket to the fix in place with the PM screws. The screw fits into the sockets in the spinner, and the tabs on the gear set fit neatly over the propeller arms. So what we'll do, we'll just bring these 4 screws in, but obviously we only need 3 of these silver ones, and then just pop them straight into the hole, and then right, that's one done. Come on, you little sod. There we go. So same as always, just tighten them up until they're just tight enough that they've caught, and then once all 3 are in, just go around tightening everything up properly. There we go, so that's all those ones done. So all the screws are in there nicely. The propeller, blades and the nose cone are all attached, and we can still just about adjust the pitch of that as well. So that's that done. Step 4 is take the motor housing, slide the 2 brass cylinders on part 2.3 as far apart as possible so that you can fit the channel on part 20.2 between the rims of the brass pieces indicated by the red arrows. Okay. The inset below shows the housing in place. Right, so this bit looks a little bit more complicated. So we're going to get the part here that's got the 2 actual pins on. Sorry about the contrast on this, it's absolutely terrible, isn't it? So these 2 pegs here and here, and then the other one just has the holes in there and there. So we'll take this part here. Now the pictures in the magazine do show exactly how it all goes together. Alright, so I think that goes there. No, those 2 parts have to... Right, okay, so on the spinner gear here, these 2 brass parts spread apart. So push one right up to the gear, up to the cog, sorry, and one to the other far end. So it'll look like that. Then we'll fit that in place there, is that right? Let's have a look at these. Right, so that fits in. Right, so there's a little groove on this edge. So if I, sorry about the light in here, it is really bad. Let me try and shift it around a little bit. Try and make it a bit easier for you to see. Nope, that's made it worse. Right, move this light down here. Let's try this then. So, where you've got these 2 parts here and here, total opposite end of the part there's like a little groove running all the way through. That's where that bit needs to go. So if I move that light back up there again, just so I've got everything lit properly. I promise I will get some proper lighting soon, I promise. So that goes in there, just like that. And then take the motor, so that's this one here, 20.4, shown without the cable for clarity, and fit it into the motor housing with one of the curved sides facing upwards. So that will just go into there. So the other groove basically in the middle is where the motor itself goes, and the cog should fit into that cog there, should fit into that cog there. So the small fat cog on the actual motor should fit onto that bigger one. Take the second part of the motor housing, this one, and fit it over the motor so that the screw holes of the 2 housing are aligned. Fix it together with the 2 PB screws. So, we line that up. Where do these screw in? 1, 2. Right, so there are 2 screw holes. One there, and then so there's one there, and there's one down this bottom end. And the light captures it just there. So that's one. That's 2, so that's both of those done. I'm going a bit tighter, there we go. Lovely. So that's that part all attached, which will allow the propeller blades to spin. That looks so cool. But that's, and obviously everything is spinning nicely as well, and I can feel the gears clicking together, which is always good. So that's it for issue 2. Gears and motor have been fitted to the spinner, complete with the propellers. Part 20.5, which is the the fuselage frame, will be fitted in a future issue. Store the parts carefully until needed. So that is issue 2 done. Right then guys, so that is issue 2 all done. With issue 3 we get the first part for the fuselage, and we also get parts for the engine. So here we've got the fuselage part just there, and then we've also got all these other parts which are for the engine themselves. Those 2 little bits up there have got Rolls-Royce written in very small red letters, so that'll be the start of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. So I think on this, actually, this part here that the propeller blades are kind of put into is supposed to be the first part of the engine. I think we're probably going to get like a surround to go around it, but obviously you can see how this is going to look when it's done, and I really cannot wait. I really cannot wait to see how this looks when it's going to be all finished. So yeah, that's looking good up to now. So yeah guys, please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Yorkshire Modeller for more weekly model building geekiness. When you do click on subscribe, remember to click the bell icon, because then you'll get notified every time I upload a video. Whether it's the Spitfire, whether it's the Bismarck, whether it's the Ferrari F40, you'll always get notified. In the description box down below I've put links to all 3 of the models that I'm building. So there's the link for the Bismarck, the F40 and for the Spitfire as well, if you want to go onto the websites and subscribe online, or just to see, you know, what the models are like, what they're made of, how big they're going to be, things like that. So those links are all down below. Same as the links to my Yorkshire Modeller Facebook page and the Yorkshire Modeller Twitter as well. Now, one other thing that I have put down below, and I did mention it in a previous video, I think, me setting up a Patreon account, which I have done. So the link is in the description down below to my Patreon. If you want to pop over there, I'm going to try and upload something a little bit more to Patreon. So maybe a couple of blogs, maybe once or twice a week, a couple of vlogs rather, a couple of times a week, even if it's just something as simple as, you know, me walking around Whitby, just showing my hometown off as well, and anything that is done during the in the Patreon page will go back into the channel. As I'm sure you know, I pay for these magazines, and everything that I get for this channel I pay for out of my own salary, which I'm, you know, absolutely fine and happy to do. But I want to get some proper light boxes. Like I say, at the minute I'm working with a daylight lamp that I bought from work, and I want to get a couple of light boxes so everything's going to be properly lit, and it's going to be a little bit better, especially when we're doing things like the Spitfire, where there's going to be a lot of darker parts, like the night and day camo. All the black side is going to be quite difficult to see. All the engine parts are going to be quite difficult to see, especially because at this time of year, I mean, it's pitch black out there now. It's just this daylight lamp that I've got that is lighting everything up. So yeah, if you do want to donate anything through Patreon, feel free to pop over there and do that. At the end of every video, once I start, if anybody does, obviously donate. At the end of every YouTube video, there is going to be like a set of credits, if you like, just before the thanks for watching, see you next week part, the end card. There's going to be a list of everybody that is a Patreon. a patron of the channel. So yeah, that's on there as well. But until next time, happy modelling, guys.